Hello friends, the topic of discussion in this video is friend function in C++ programming. So I'm going to discuss some characteristics of the friend function in brief in this PowerPoint presentation. So let's get on with the discussion of the characteristics of friend function. If we just go to the first characteristic of the friend function, it says it is not in the scope of the class in which it is declared as a friend function. That means a friend function can be defined inside the class, or it can be declared inside the class and defined outside the body of the class, but it is not in the scope of the class in which it is declared as a friend function. So it is basically a friend function of the class, but it is not a member function of the class. So since it is not a member function of the class, it is not in the scope of the class in which it is declared as a friend. So we come to the next point and see that it is not invoked by an object of the class. It is not invoked by an object of the class because friend function is basically a friend of a class, and it is not a member function of the class. And when we need to invoke any member function of the class, we need to invoke it, or we need to call the function by means of an object separated by the dot operator with the function name. But in the case of the friend function being invoked, we need not depend upon an object to invoke the friend function, as the friend function is not a part and parcel of the class in which it is declared as a friend, but only it is a friend function of that class. So it is not a member function of the class, and hence we do not require object to invoke a friend function. So next characteristic is that the keyword friend is used in the function prototype but not in the function definition. So what does it mean? It means that we use the keyword friend. We use the keyword friend at the time of the declaration of the friend function inside a class body. But when we go on to define the friend function, or when we go on to write the function definition outside the class body, we need not require the keyword friend to be used in the function definition signature. So there is no need of writing the keyword friend in the function definition, but we need to mention this keyword friend where we declare the friend function inside a particular class. So we come to the next point and see that scope resolution operators are not needed to access these functions. Access these functions means obviously the friend functions. So scope resolution operators are not needed to access these functions means if we define a member function outside the class body, then we need to mention the class name and a scope resolution operator associated with the class name in order to show that the function is a member of a particular class and hence falling in the scope of the class in which it is declared as a member function. But in the case of the friend function, we do not require the class name and the scope resolution operators when it is defined outside the body of the class, when these friend functions are defined outside the body of the class, because friend functions are merely friends of the class in which it is declared as a friend, but not in the scope of the class in which it is declared. So let's come to the next point and see it can access the data members of the class directly. Instead, it uses an object name. It can't access the data members of the class directly. Instead, it uses an object name and a period operator with each member name. So when we go on to access the data members of the class, we can also access the private data members of the class by means of a friend function of a particular class, since it is a friend of that particular class. But we need to access the data members which are private data members essentially We need to access those data members by means of an object name along with a period or a dot operator with each member name, that is with each data member name or any member function name. So this is not a direct way of accessing data members of a class by a friend function, but definitely we can get access of the private data members of a class using a friend function. But in that case, we need to have an object name and a period operator associated with each member name of the class. So next, it can either be declared in the private part or the public part of a class. So this means that friend function can be declared under the private section or the public part of a class. So friend function doesn't essentially have a visibility modifier or an access specifier associated with it, since it is not a member directly of the class but is merely a friend of the class. And since it is not a member of the class, we can declare it either under the public visibility modifier of the class or in the private visibility modifier of the class. So there is no connection of the friend function to be placed under any visibility modifier of a particular class. So coming to the next part, usually it takes objects as arguments. So basically we see that friend function uses objects as arguments. So friend function always takes some objects of a class as arguments, in which the friend function is declared to be a friend of that particular class. So we can just instantiate any class by means of creating objects of that particular class. In that class where we take the friend function, where we declare the friend function to be a friend of that particular class, and we use those objects created from a particular class as arguments or parameters in friend function definitions. Now we come to a sample illustrative program which shows the implementation of a friend function in a C++ program. It is a basic C++ program which helps us to see the implementation or understand the implementation of a friend function in C++ programming. So let me just go line by line in this program. Hash include iostream using namespace std. So these are some file inclusion directives. After that, using namespace std, then followed by a class abc, and in the comment line I've written forward declaration. I will just come to that in a bit. After that, I have defined a class xyz, under which there is a private data member in x, int x. Under the public section, I have written a function, I have defined a function rather, which is named as setVal. It is not going to return anything, so the return type is void. Name of the function is setVal, and it has a formal argument in int I, and whatever is the value of I is going to be assigned to the data member x of the class xyz. After that, under the public section, I have declared a friend function which is named to be max, having two arguments as the data type of the class xyz and the class abc. So since I have used this abc as a data type in this parameter list, this abc hasn't been defined before this statement has been written. That's why, in order to make the compiler understand that this ABC is also an object of the particular uh, ABC is also a particular object as an argument to this friend function, this ABC needs to be defined or this ABC class needs to be declared by means of a forward declaration in this way, that is before going into the body of the class XYZ, we just mention the name of another class which is ABC, and that ABC is also used later on after the class body of XYZ, in which I have also used the same friend function max. So since this friend function max is a common friend of both this ABC and XYZ class, and ABC class has not been written before this expression statement, it needs a mention in the forward declaration, and this is the reason for why I have done this forward declaration before going into the XYZ class body. So this friend function max has two objects as arguments of the two classes in which these function max has been declared to be a friend of those respective classes. So as we have discussed before, that in the time of declaration of friend function we require a keyword friend to be associated with the function declaration part. We use this friend keyword over here, and writing this under the public section doesn't mean that friend function should be declared under the public section or the public or under the public modifier access specifier or visibility modifier of a class. It can be written either in the private section or in the public section of a class, because the place of declaring a friend function, whether it is under the public section or public section of the class, doesn't matter, because friend function is not at all a member of that particular class. So we have declared this under this public section friend void max. We could have written this friend void max over here as well after this index, because it can either be written on the public part or the private part of a class. After that we come to the class ABC, where we have a similar variable like x in int a. Under the public section there is a similar function having the same name as this one, that is setval, void setval with int I. Whatever is the value of I will be assigned to the private data member A. After that we also mentioned this friend function, that is we also declared this friend function max inside the class ABC, because this max function is a common friend of both the classes XYZ and ABC. After that we come to define the friend function outside both these classes, and since we define this friend function outside both the classes, you could have you could think of that it should have something like a class name and a scope resolution operator associated with it, but in the characteristics part I have also mentioned it. I have also discussed that since this friend function is not a member of a particular class, there is no need of the class name and the scope resolution operator to be associated with a friend function definition. So here we didn't use the class name and the scope resolution operator in the time of the function definition of the friend function. So this is void max having two objects as arguments, that is xyzx and abca. Under this we have a logic like this: if x dot x is greater than or equal to a dot a, we will output x dot x, otherwise we will output a dot a. So in the characteristics description section I have mentioned it, that in order to access a private data member of a particular class in which a friend function is declared to be a friend of that particular class, we need to access the private data member not in a direct fashion but with the help of an object name along with a period operator associated with it. So this is the implementation of that concept, that is a dot a. So whatever is the data member, private data member of class ABC, that is A, is been accessed by an object capital A of the class ABC, and whatever is the private data member of class XYZ, that is small x, is being accessed by capital X, which is essentially an object or an instance of the class XYZ. So this is the way of approach of getting access to a private data member of a particular class by means of a friend function. So this is the logic which essentially returns the greater of the two numbers x and a in the respective classes, where the friend function max has been declared to be a common friend of both the classes. So after that, finally we go to the main section and see what I have written over there. ABC ABC. So ABC ABC means that capital ABC is the class name and small ABC is the object name. So small ABC is an object or an instance of the class ABC. After that, we invoke the function setval of this class ABC by the statement abc.setval with an integer value as an actual argument supplied within the parenthesis with this setval function. So this 64 is being copied into this int I as the formal argument, and this I value or the value 64 gets assigned into the data member A of the class ABC. After that, similar concept has been used in this expression statement where we have instantiated another class, that is the xyz class, by the object name small xyz, and this xyz invokes the setval function with the actual argument 56, which is being copied into this int I portion, and this I value goes into the data member x, that is x becomes 56, and by this a becomes 64. So if we just compare them with the help of the friend function max by this this expression statement max xyz comma abc, means this is the function call, or this is the point where we invoke the friend function. And please note that there is no use of any object name along with the dot operator associated with the function call max with the actual arguments xyz and abc. So we just supply the objects as arguments to the friend function max, just as any other ordinary function is used inside the main module. So after that, we see that this function call will take the control of the program to this function body, where we see this sort of logic being implemented, and we should expect that 64 being the greater of the two numbers will be output to be the greater of the two number and to be returned as an output from the program we have written over here. So after that, the program control comes to this return 0 statement followed by the closing brace of the main section. So we will get an output of 64 from this program, and I hope you have understood the program correctly. I have explained to my best possible manner in order to make it clear to you, friends. And if you have any doubts and queries, you can just comment on the comment section. Express your doubts and queries in the comment section so that I can address to your doubts and queries. So last of all, going to the last slide or the conclusion slide, we see that this idea explained above shows how to access private data of a class without being a member of the class. We know that in C++ programming, in order to access the private data members of a class, we need to access it with the from the class inside the class in which the data members have been declared to be private data members. We can have access to those private data members from the class itself, but not from outside the class. This is the basic concept in of the data hiding in C++ programming. But in the case of friend function, that is a way in which we can get access to some private data members if we just can give some sort of flexibility or attribute some sort of flexibility to the rigidity of the concept of information hiding or data hiding in case of C++ programming. So friend function comes with that solution of attributing some flexibility to the rigidity of the concept of data hiding in C++ programming, because friend function helps us to access the private data members of a class outside from outside the class merely by the virtue of the friend function being declared as a friend of that particular class, where we want to get access to some private data members of that particular specific class. So this idea helps to build a communication between two separate classes by using a common friend function for both the classes. Suppose one class we have mentioned in the program, just we discussed the program before this slide, where we have seen that there are two classes ABC and XYZ, but they are classes which are not able to access each other's data members. But with the help of the friend function max being declared to be a common friend of both the classes, we can get access of the data members X and A of the class X, XYZ, and the class ABC respectively, by way of the max function, which is a friend function, in which we can get to compare the two values A and X from those two classes, in spite of the fact that those two data members are private data members of each of those classes. This is the concept of creating a communication bridge between two separate classes which do not have a direct communication between them, but by using a common friend function for both the classes, we can get access, we can get the two classes to communicate between each other in C++ programming. So this is the brief idea of the theory portion or the theory part of the concept of friend function in C++ programming. So after all this discussion, I think the concept of the friend function is clear to you, friends. But if you still have any doubts and queries in your mind regarding this entire discussion, you can well post your doubts and queries into the comment section so that I can address to those queries and comments of yours. So thanks for watching this video, and please don't forget to like, share and subscribe to DigiGuide. Thanks again.